Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Time. Today I'm going to read you a story, an old story, The Tale of Jemima Puddle-duck. It's old, but it's good. This is by Beatrix Potter, and it's one of my favorite stories. The Tale of Jemima Puddle-duck. What a funny sight it is to see a brood of ducklings with a hen. Listen to the story of Jemima Puddle-duck, who was annoyed because the farmer's wife would not let her hatch her own eggs. Her sister-in-law, Mrs. Rebecca Puddle-duck, was perfectly willing to leave the hatching to someone else. "I have not the patience to sit on a nest for 28 days, and no more have you, Jemima. You would let them go cold. You know you would." "I wish to hatch my own eggs. I will hatch them all by myself," quacked Jemima Puddle-duck. She tried to hide her eggs, but they were always found and carried off. Jemima Puddle-duck became quite desperate. She determined to make a nest right away from the farm. She set off on a fine spring morning along the cart roads that lead over the hill. She was wearing a shawl and a poke bonnet. When she reached the top of the hill, she saw some woods in the distance. She thought it looked like a safe spot. Jemima Puddle-duck was not in the habit of flying. She ran downhill a few yards, flapping her shawl, and then she jumped in the air. She flew beautifully when she got a good start. She skimmed over the treetops until she saw an open place in the middle of the woods where the trees and brushwood had been cleared. Jemima alighted rather heavily and began to waddle in search of a convenient dry nesting place. She rather fancied a tree stump amongst the tall foxgloves. But, seated on the stump, she was startled to find an elegantly dressed gentleman reading a newspaper. He had black prick ears and sandy-colored whiskers. "Quack," said Jemima Puddle-duck with her head and her bonnet on one side. "Quack." The gentleman raised his eyebrows above his newspaper and looked curiously at Jemima. "Madame, have you lost your way?" he said. He had a long bushy tail which he was sitting upon, as the stump was somewhat damp. Jemima thought him mighty civil and handsome. She explained that she had not lost her way, but that she was trying to find a convenient and dry nesting place. "Now, can you tell what that is?" "That's a fox." "How's this going to work out?" "Oh, is that so indeed?" said the gentleman with the sandy whiskers. He folded up the newspaper and put it in his coat-tail pocket. Jemima complained of the superfluous hen. "Indeed, how interesting. I wish I could meet with that fowl. I would teach her to mind her own business. But as to a nest, there is no difficulty. I have a sack of feathers in my woodshed." Oh, he's going to help her. Or is he? "No, my dear madame, you will be in nobody's way. You may sit here as long as you like," said the bushy-tailed gentleman, and he led the way to a very retired, dismal-looking house among the foxgloves. It was built with faggots and turf, and there were two broken pails, one on top of the other, by way of a chimney. "This is my summer residence. You would not find my winter house, so convenient," said the hospitable gentleman. There was a tumble-down shed at the back of the house made of old soap boxes, and the gentleman opened the door and showed Jemima in. The shed was almost quite full of feathers and almost suffocating, but it was so comfortable and soft. Jemima Puddle-duck was surprised to find such a vast quantity of feathers, but it was comfortable, so she made a nest without any trouble at all. When she came out, the sandy-whiskered gentleman was sitting on a log reading the newspaper, or at least he had it spread out, but he was looking over the top of it. He was so polite that he seemed almost sorry to let Jemima go for the night. He promised to take great care of her nest until she came back again the next day. He said he loved eggs and ducklings, and he should be proud to see a fine nestful in his woodshed. Jemima Puddle-duck came every afternoon, and she laid 9 eggs in the nest. They were greeny white and very large. The foxy gentleman admired them immensely. He used to turn them over and over and count them when Jemima was away. I don't like the way this is going. At last, Jemima told him that she intended to begin to sit the next day, and I will bring a bag of corn with me so that I should never leave my nest until the eggs are hatched. They might get cold, said the conscientious Jemima. Madam, I beg you not to trouble yourself with a bag. I will provide you oats. But before you commence your tedious sitting, I intend to give you a treat. Let us have a dinner party all to ourselves. May I ask you to bring some herbs from the farm garden to make a savory omelet? Sage and thyme and mint and 2 onions and some parsley. I will provide the lard for the stuff, lard for the omelet, said the hospitable gentleman with whiskers. Jemima Puddle-duck was a simpleton. Not even the mention of sage and onions made her suspicious. She went around the farm garden, nibbling off snippets of all sorts of different herbs that are used for stuffing roast duck. Oh no. And she waddled into the kitchen and got 2 eggs out of a basket. The collie dog Kep met her coming out. What are you doing with those onions? Where do you go every afternoon by yourself, Jemima Puddle-duck? Jemima was rather in awe of the collie, and she told him the whole story. The collie listened with his wise head to one side. He grinned when she described the polite gentleman with sandy whiskers. Look at that sweet-looking puppy. He asked several questions about the wood and about the exact location of the house and shed. Then he went out and trotted to the village. He went to look for 2 foxhound puppies who were out for a walk with the butcher. Jemima Puddle-duck went up the cart road for the last time on a Sunday afternoon. She was rather burdened with the bunches of herbs and onions in a bag. She flew over the woods and alighted opposite the house of the bushy, long-tailed gentleman. He was sitting on a log. He sniffed the air and kept glancing uneasily around. When Jemima alighted, he quite jumped. Come into the house as soon as you've looked at your eggs and give me the herbs for the omelet. Be sharp now. It was rather abrupt, and Jemima Puddle-duck had never heard him speak like that. She was surprised and uncomfortable. While she was inside, she heard pattering feet around the back of the shed. Someone with a black nose sniffed at the bottom of the door and then locked it. Jemima became much alarmed. Oh, but we know who it is. It's the collie dog trying to protect her. A moment afterwards, there were the most awful noises, barking, baying, growls, howling, squeaking, groans, and nothing more was ever seen of that foxy, whiskered gentleman. Persistently, Kep opened the door to the shed and let Jemima Puddle-duck out. Unfortunately, the puppies rushed in and gobbled up all the eggs before he could stop them. He had a bite on his ear, and both the puppies were limping. Jemima Puddle-duck was escorted home in tears on account of the eggs. She laid some more in June, and she was permitted to keep them herself, but only 4 of them hatched. Jemima Puddle-duck said that was because of her nerves, and she had always been a bad sitter. Well, she is lucky that those dogs, that the collie, understood what that fox was going to do and saved her from it. I hope you enjoyed the tale of Jemima Puddle-duck.